But since we on the subject of gangs and retaliation, what I'm about to say is going to be a contradiction to what I just said. But in the Tupac case, I was watching an interview with Marv James. Uh, Maybe about 5 years ago, he did this interview, and he was talking about, if you know he seen somebody that he had beef with, it's on site. And at the time he was talking, I think the person that interviewed him was asking him, did he ever see Orlando Anderson after the Tupac passed away? After Tupac passed away, and he was like, "Nah, he never seen him again." They wasn't really around, or he wasn't really around like that. And the person asked, "Well, if you would have seen him, what would have happened?" He's like, "Oh man, it would have been on site, right?" So the thing that puzzled me about that, him saying that, is, so why, when they pulled up in front of Club 662, why they didn't do nothing? If he's the one that saw them in front of Club 662, right? And he said he called Buntry and was like, "Yo, the South Sides is out here." You know what I'm saying? If he's at Club 662 and they got all these dudes over there at the club and they all live, waiting, to party or whatever, whatever. Why did he call Buntry opposing to handling anything himself? If he was, all he say he was back then. And not that I'm condoning any violence or anything. I'm just trying to figure out this Tupac thing in my head, right? Because if Tupac got jumped, I mean, if Tupac and the Mall Pirus jumped Orlando and they antennas was up, so to speak, right? They were on alert, right? And these dudes pulled up to the club looking for them. Why did he just call Buntry and them? Why didn't he do anything? Run over to the car, yo, what y'all here for? Yo, y'all know better than to come around here. Like, why didn't why didn't he do anything? And if they were if they knew how serious the situation was, why wasn't anybody prepared for beef? It don't make sense. Now, in Marv James' case, he said his baby mother and Keefe D baby mother were best friends, right? So his baby mother and Keefe D baby mother was best friends, and his kid was living in that area. He went over there all the time, and he had really had no beef with them, and he was able to go in the South Side community as a Pyru. Then it would make sense if he seen him that he didn't want to have no smoke with him. because he got to go over there and visit his kid, right? But why would he call his brother and not have pork butt or any of them? Why wasn't nobody that was there alerted and they sitting right there opposed to letting them leave and then the to go find Suge and pocking them? So Marv James, I know you be watching, you know, and I know you be paying attention because you be doing response videos to videos. So if you see this one, Marv James, if you sit there and you do an interview and you saying that if you would have ran into Orlando, it would have been on site, right? Why when Keefe D and them or the Cadillac pulled up in front of 662, you said they pulled into the bus stop. Keefe D said they pulled into the back of the club. You say he lying because if they would have pulled into the back of the club, they'd have got their butts tore up. So if you saw them pull into the front, whether they pulled into the front, they pulled into the bus stop, or they pulled into the back of the club, why nothing happened? Why you had to get on the phone and call Buntry and them, who's could be at Suge house, could be at the hotel or whatever? Why are you letting them know that KBD or the Cadillac is sitting there in front of the club? And if you was such a badass back then, not saying that you wasn't, I'm just saying, if you was such a badass back then, why nothing happened when they pulled up to the club? Anybody, does that make sense to anybody? If he's seen them at the club and there's a whole bunch of gangbangers there, and you know they have no business being over there, instead of spying them and getting on the phone, like, yo, they over here. And but he was this badass Pyru, right? And they got other gang members in there, right? And I'm not taking nothing away from his street credibility or nothing. I'm just asking the question that if it would be on site if you saw Orlando after the fact, right? After he killed Tupac, allegedly, which we don't believe he did at all anyway, right? But if they pulled up to the club after a fight, why wasn't they addressed if you were standing outside? Why didn't you tell Pork Butt? Please answer that question if you find time in your busy schedule. It's just a question, brother. Nobody's questioning your gangster at all. I'm just asking a question because I seen you say in the interview that if you would have seen him after that, it would have been on site. So I'm just trying to figure that part out. All right, that's all I got to say on the Tupac thing tonight. I got more later.